Malicious. So the basic setup of the game is that you play as a character known as a spirit vessel. You can either be a boy or a girl, in which you have to take out these multiple boss characters for working for an entity known as the Malicious. That's the best you could come up with for a villain? The Malicious? That's like the most generic video game name I've ever heard for a villain. What's it gonna be for the sequel? The hateful, the spiteful, the nasty? No! Wait! Bad idea! So the basic gameplay is set up like this. You're thrown into multiple arenas, which looks like one from a courtyard, one from a battleship, one from a library. Basically, you can pick any arena that you want to at your leisure. And you can go in and you fight all these minion characters, in which there's also a giant boss character you have to fight at the same time. So it's kind of like Dynasty Warriors meets old school Mega Man. And it's old school Mega Man in the fact that once you beat that boss character, you get their special ability. So you have a piece of clothing known as the Mantle of Cinders, which allows itself, depending on where you press on the D-pad, to change itself into any form of weapon that you choose. Attacks can range from a double fist attack, a bullet fury attack, a lance attack, a sword attack, and an upgrade for your shield. You can also get certain abilities throughout the course of the game after you beat the boss characters, such as fly or ability to jump 6 times, which I'm not going to lie, I bet even Mario would be jealous of. Hold the phone. You're telling me that this piece of clothing can change into any multiple forms of weapons in which you have to take on dozens of enemies in a giant boss battle at one time. What, did Bayonetta get suddenly bored one day and open up a thrift store? There's no real HUD in the game per se. There's only 2 things you really need to keep track of. Your aura, which allows you to give your attacks a little bit more of an edge when fighting your enemies, and allows you to chain your attacks together and gain more aura. And as well as your health, which is not indicated by any sort of health bar across the screen, but more or less how many limbs you have left. But apparently, he gets his first 8 lessons from Piccolo because he can just roll them right back, just spend a little aura, and boom! Right as rain. Another thing that's really annoying is the fact the lock-on mechanic kind of sucks. Again, this may not seem like it's annoying whenever you're trying to fight the bosses and just the simple ones and the small ones. But whenever you suddenly have to go from attacking one character to suddenly a specific spot on a character in order to weaken it and make it vulnerable for attack, that gets really annoying, especially when you have swarms of enemies attacking you all at once. I'm not gonna lie, it makes for pretty frustrating times trying to beat it. Another thing, the counterattacks are a bit sporadic. For some reason, the counterattacks always felt like you always had to have a certain weapon, a certain movement, and a specific location for it to be enacted. And even then, it only happened at random. It just felt like the counterattacks were just not consistent overall, which kind of got annoying, especially when you're trying to defend yourself and have to defend where all this other crap is thrown at you. Amongst those flaws in the game, there are several things about it which I did like. For one thing, the score of this game was actually really good, especially the final boss battle theme, which, I'm not going to lie, kind of reminded me of Sonic Adventure 2 a little bit. Number 2 is the art style. It may not be the most stylized game in the world. It's certainly not stylized like, say, a Suda51 game, but whenever you see it, it's like, wow, this is actually very vibrant, very colorful, and it's pleasing to the eyes, which is always a good thing. Number 3 is the strategy. So you have to really pay attention whenever what's going on in the battlefield. Say, alright, do I attack the minions? Do I go after the artillery? Do I use this certain attack? Do I use my aura at this point? There's multiple factors you have to take into the battle before you actually say, alright, this is what I'm going to do. Or say, if I'm going to go into this battle using this sort of attack, or I'm just going to wail on the boss character the whole way through and just use that. Overall, the game itself isn't that bad, but honestly, it's not going to be one of those games you remember for years and years to come, but it's not a bad way to kill an afternoon, so to speak. So, bottom line, it's a fun time killer. The challenge is pretty decent. It has some good replay value for trophy hunters. The lock-on system kind of stinks. The mid-air recovery gets a little bit annoying. The counterattacks are a bit sporadic. Good music, good visual style. So, overall, Malicious is a fun but a flawed game. So everybody, that is my review of Malicious. I apologize if this reverse review is a little bit rough because I'm still trying to get used to this, and I hope it's not too terrible. If you have any suggestions for how to make this review better, please comment below and tell me what you think. What would you like to make a suggestion? If you have something that you would like me to review, if you have, say, a movie, an anime, or another game you want me to review, please comment below. Tell me what you think. And until next time, guys, I'm Perry, the One-Armed Gamer. You name it, I can play it.